Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 90, Allen versus Curtis 2, 90 fucking Apex Fight Night, and I've broken down, I think the first one I did was Gastelum and Cannoneer, and that was like 4 years ago, so that's fucking insane. What's also insane is 4 fight nights in a row, 3 of them have been shit. This one's probably ain't gonna be good, and we're all just trying to not go insane before 300, so yeah, we're doing great. What can I really fucking say in a short summary before I get into the breakdown? It's another Apex card. On paper, it's okay, but I said that last week. I think I said that about the Rose card. These fight nights, at this point, I don't care how good they look, I have no fucking faith in them not being shit. So, we'll see. I am doubtful at this point, because 3 bad fight nights in a row is a very bad sign. But, either way, even if this card ain't good, we just gotta make 300. So, whatever. Either way, I'm gonna break it down also. So, before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year. Thank y'all for giving me the 40. That's a fucking so awesome. I can't even put into words how insane that is. I would never thought I would get to 40. Let's keep going, man. Can we get to fucking 100 before the end of the year? I fucking doubt it. Never know what's gonna happen. No. But enough of me rambling like a fucking idiot. Let's break down some fights for UFC Vegas 90. Let's do it. 13 fights in total, and it's another Apex card. So it's ordered like a fucking like they picked the fights out of a hat. So yeah, the order of the card makes no sense, but whatever. It's what it is. 13. Let's start with the first fight of the night, which is in the women's bantamweight division. It's actually not a terrible fight. I don't hate it. I know a lot of people probably look at this as a piss break, and that's very MMA fan of people, because, well, my bad, that's very dumbass of MMA people, because you're not an MMA fan if you do that, you're a bitch. So, whatever. This is a decent fight to open the night, and as we open the night with Melissa, Tonya, No Mess, Mullins, I don't know where I'm at to say No Mess there, versus Nora, Wonder, Cornolle. I know, I don't think it's Cornolle, but that's how it's fucking spelled, so fuck off. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, not really. But, yeah, decent fight to begin the night between 2 decent prospects. It has the same vibe as Randamie and Lesniakova last week, or 2 weeks ago. Hopefully this is a better fight than that fight, and hopefully this ain't a robbery, so. But enough rambling, let's talk about the first fighter of the night, Melissa Tonya Mullins, not Melissa Dixon anymore. Melissa in the UFC is 1-0, coming off her UFC debut. She beat Irina Alkasheva. She looked good in that fight. She had a great fight. It was a very fun war, and she looked decent. Irina is a very okay fighter in my opinion. I think she does have some potential, and Melissa completely, to an extent, outclassed her. She was able to look like the better fighter, and it was a fun fight. But Melissa did get to win and keep her O very clearly, and to debut against someone like Irina, who is pretty decent, and to look pretty decent in that, very solid debut. Like I said, someone who I rank kind of highly on the prospect list in Irina Alkasheva, at least at women's bantamweight. Dixon looked better than her. Her striking looked decent. Her ground game won her that fight, because she is I think she's much bigger. Oh no, I swear she's like much bigger than Irina, but I guess not. But I do remember she was able to kind of control Irina when they did go to the ground and shit. So it was a really good debut, and a very fun fight. Showed a lot of Melissa's strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, and if she can build on top of that fight with a nice one here, she's already ranked 15th somehow, because the division's fucking dog shit. So if she can go 2-0 here, beating another solid prospect, Melissa's gonna be a pretty interesting name to watch. Like, and she's only 6-0. And like, if she looks good here, we'll see how she looks in the future. Fuck, her last 2 wins are Zelezniakova and Irina. Zelezniakova just debuted and looked very terrible, so actually that's not a great win. And then Irina, who, like I just talked about, I think is very decent. So yeah, I think Melissa's a very interesting prospect here, and with 135 needing any fucking talent, because when Raquel Pennington is your champion and Juliana Pena is the #1 contender, you need help. So we'll see if Melissa can be that help. I'm not gonna say she is yet, because one fight in she looked good, but I want to see more. But I was impressed for her debut, and let's see how she looks here in another tough fight. To talk about to talk about her opponent, Nora Cornolle, another fighter who is 1-0 in the UFC, coming off her UFC debut. She did not have as good of a debut, in my opinion. She did beat Jocelyn Edwards, even if that was a very questionable decision. She did not look very good in that fight, in my opinion. She looked subpar versus a fighter who's not very good, and Jocelyn Edwards. She didn't look terrible, but definitely some of the holes in her game definitely got shown. And she seems very green, which it makes sense. She's fucking 8 fights into her career, and she's fighting a veteran like Jocelyn, but she just didn't look that good. I expected a lot better of a debut for Nora, like what she was going into that fight, 6-1. On a 3 knockout winning, 4 KO winning, 4 KOs in a row, like only finishes in her wins, and she did not really impress me. And again, I don't even know if she won that fight. If I remember, a lot of people were debating that decision. It's not a robbery, but it was definitely a debatable decision. So maybe it was just debut jitters in Paris, where she's fucking from. So I'll give her benefit of the doubt against a veteran like Jocelyn. It's not the easiest debut in the world, but if you're talented enough, you should beat Jocelyn Edwards pretty easily. We've seen a lot of fighters, like fucking Jessica Rose Clark did. Come on. I want to, like, out of these two, Nora definitely has more to prove here, since her debut was a lot weaker than Melissa's. So, but it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a really interesting fight. It's one of these two are going to prove they're a good prospect. So, hopefully, because I said that about Zelezniakova and Randamie, and all we left that fight is a shitty decision and 2 fighters who don't look very good. So what did that tell you? But yeah, Nora did not impress me as much as Melissa in her debut, but in the Apex now, a lot more quality. Gonna be empty to start the night or the day. It's gonna be like, what, 12 o'clock there. So we'll see how she looks. No jitters, no debut, not at home, just another fight. See how she does. The betting odds for this fight have Melissa Tonya Mullins at -330 to +260. I disagree to an extent. I do agree Melissa should be the favorite, but I think -330 is kind of insane. I'd have Melissa at highest -210, and lowest I could see -180, 190. I get why she's the favorite. Who looked better in their debut? Melissa. Who fought a better fighter in their debut? In my opinion, Melissa. I'll take Irina Alkashiva over Jocelyn Edwards. Is that saying Irina would win that fight? Probably not. But as a skill, but that's the best fighter does not always win the fight. But off topic, who looked better in their debut overall? Melissa. Whose skill set looked better? I would say Melissa. This is going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be, I think it's pretty much striker versus grappler. Melissa's going to want to get this to the ground. Nora's going to want us to keep us on the feet. It's one of the questions of who's better at the other's strengths. Is Melissa better striker than Nora is a wrestler, and vice versa? After their debut, I've only seen one fight of these two now, their debut. I would say Melissa was probably. It's close. It's gonna be close. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued in this fight. I think I love prospect versus prospect fights. Some of the best fights in the UFC, because like when we get a prospect versus a veteran, it's like, yeah, we know what we're getting with the veteran. I want to see what the young fighter can do. Prospect versus prospect, it's an open canvas. Who is better? Who's gonna make a statement? I think I love those kind of fights. We got another one, like a few of those fights on this card, which is great. So, but yeah, enough of me rambling about this fight. What do I think's gonna happen? Who am I taking? I'm gonna lean Melissa Mullins. I think she has a better skill set. I think she is gonna be able to do her game plan better than Nora, and I think she'll be able to win this fight. Do I think it's gonna be dominant, like a minus 330 would win? No, I think it's gonna be more. I could see it being a close but clear fight. I could see it being a split. I could see it being a close fight. I'm intrigued. It's mostly going to go to decision. I doubt anyone gets finished here, but you never know. But I'm going to lean with Melissa Mullins. I do think she'll be able to get the win here. Takedowns, do good work on the feed. Another thing, whose gas tank is better? If I remember, Nora did gas in that fight with Jocelyn. Mullins' gas tank looked decent, I think. I don't remember her gassing as badly against Irina, so I think that's nothing to factor in. So, in my opinion, the signs are pointing towards Melissa, so I'm going to go with Melissa, Tonya, Mullins. So, my pick here is going to be MTM by decision. I think Mullins will be able to do her thing and get the win here and go 7-0, 2 wins in the UFC, and keep her number 15 ranking. Let's see what she can do in the UFC, but never know. Nora could shut me up very easily. Let's see what happens. Mullins by decision. After that, we have another prospect versus prospect fight. This one's a lot shittier than the other, and these guys are definitely not good fighters. But yeah, another, and debatable on the word prospect here. But yeah, another two dudes debuting. Who can make a statement? Let's see. And in our second fight of the night in the middleweight division, we have Dylan the Mindless Hulk Budka versus César Cezina Almeida. Yeah, like I said, this fight is definitely worse than the first fight. But whatever. Debuting guy versus debuting guy from the same season of DWCS. Let's see who wins their debut, and let's start with talking about Dylan Budka. Budka making his UFC debut, no shit. I don't know why he got a contract. He looked fucking terrible on DWCS. He had one of the most boring fights of the year. He hugged this fucking Chad dude for 15 minutes and got a win. Wow. Why did he get a contract? Like, I get the Chad dude did not fight, but Budka sucks also. So, I don't know why Dana gave this clown a contract, but I guess he was in a really, really good mood that day. So, we'll see if that makes any sense by the end of this fight, of his debut fight. I didn't see anything worse giving him a contract. I thought he was probably one of the shittiest fighters to get a contract during the season, because I saw nothing good about his game. So, he's just a wrestler. That's about it. Simple as that. Pretty boring fighter. We'll see what he can do. I'm not impressed with his Contender Series fight. He really has to do something to impress me here, and he is getting a pretty decent opponent to do that. But let's see if he can actually show something here, because he did not show anything good in his debut. To talk about his opponent, César Almeida, coming from the same season of the Contender Series. I think he was week 1's main event. Yeah. He looked way better on Contender Series. In a fight he was meant to lose by the betting odds. He didn't look good, but he looked better. He earned his contract, unlike Mr. Budka. He dominated this Lucas kid for 15 minutes, and he got a win. The long story short of why a 36-year-old was on DWCS and got a contract, I'll show you right fucking now. right here. He had a trilogy with Alex Pereira, and he won one of the fights. So, if you want to know why Cesar Almeida is a 36-year-old on a contender series getting a contract, you're looking at it. So, yeah. No one's even hiding it. We all know that's the truth. So, and he is like an experienced kickboxer. I don't know his this is just on Tapology. It's not a great kickboxing record, but how to beat Alex Pereira is still impressive no matter what. And I guarantee I don't think Tapology is showing a lot because whatever. But yeah, Cesar, we know he's gonna be good on the feet. He's a fucking pro kickboxer, and his ground game actually didn't look bad. What I remember from his contender series fight is more than anything is him on top of this Lucas kid, like raining down ground and pound shit. So he can't stop takedowns. But my big worry with him, he is 36 years old. So his gassing ain't gonna be very good. He is. So we'll see. Let's see what the old man can do. Yeah, he actually earned his contract. So, yeah, not really much else to say. It's a very weird fight. The betting odds for this fight have Dylan Budka minus 165 to plus 140. I think those have dropped a small bit, but still about the same. I don't get those odds at all. I would have Almeida favorite, probably about minus 130, 140. There's red flags on both sides. I won't fucking lie. There's red flags on both sides here. Budka looked like shit on Contender Series, did not earn a contract, and he's a boring wrestler. Cesar is 36 years old, only 4-0 in MMA, and that's he's only here because he fought Alex Pereira and beat him. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to an extent. Do I have any faith in this being a good fight? Not really, unless Almeida drops him, which I don't see happening. But this fight's either going to go Budka is able to wrestle Cesar for 15 minutes and win, or Cesar is able to stop takedowns and either end up on top like he did on Contender Series, or he stops takedowns and is able to beat Budka up on the feet. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Gas tank definitely goes to Budka. Cesar is, again, 36 years old. Striking is no question Almeida, and of course wrestling is Budka. Gonna be interesting. Gonna be an interesting fight. Not a good one, but interesting. And who am I going with? I'm gonna go with the underdog, Cesar Almeida. I think he's a better fighter. I think he has more ways of winning this fight. And does he train with Glover? Well, that's a stupid fucking question. But did he go and train? No. Man, he trains with fucking nobody. I don't know why I'm thinking of someone else on a Contender Series fought Piera and then went to go train with him. It wasn't Cesar, so my bad. But still, let's see if getting a contract because he fought Piera and beat him means anything. So I'm going to Cesar Almeida by decision, stop takedowns, win. I guess pretty simple game plan. Let's see if the old man can do it. Cesar Almeida by decision. After that, we head to our third fight of the night in the men's bantamweight division, and this fight's okay. Nothing great about it, but it's an okay fight. Could be very good. As in our third fight of the night in the bantamweight division, we have Gene Matsumoto versus Dan the Determined Argueta. It's a fight, not a good one on paper, but it's a fight. I've seen way worse as the fight. The Budka fight's still the worst fight on the card so far, and it might be no, that's the second worst fight. Top 3 worst fights on the card, so this ain't that bad compared to some other things, which says a lot. Let's talk about the debuting fighter in Gene Matsumoto. Matsumoto making his UFC debut, just like seems like no one on this card so far that had a deep UFC career yet. On a Contender Series, he beat Casey Tanner, and he looked alright. He dominated the kid from what I remember. Yeah, he looked alright. He didn't look fucking amazing, but he looked alright against an undefeated dude. He showed good striking and all that. And that's about the long and short of it. I really don't remember his Contender Series fight. I remember he looked alright, But that's about it. I don't remember much else besides that. But yeah, he did get a contract off a decision, which either means you looked really good, or Dana was really nice that day. For him, unlike Budka, he actually, I think, probably did earn it. So yeah, it's giving him a tough debut. So let's see if he can capitalize on it, because, like I said, I think he looked fine on Contender Series, but let's see how good he really is here, because he's definitely getting a tough debut here. As his opponent is Mr. Dan Argueta, a very underrated fighter in my opinion. Dan in the UFC is 1-1-2, really should be 2-2. His 2 wins are Nick Aguirre and Ronnie Lawrence. His 2 losses are Damon Jackson and Miles Johns. The Johns fight he lost, but I think Johns was smoking weed. Ronnie, he submitted. The ref's a fucking idiot though, so there's the story there. Argueta has shown a lot of talent in fights. Like the Johns fights, the Johns fight, the first fight he actually looked not great in. Like he looked good in his other 3 fights. Even in Damon lost, he looked pretty good. Like he almost finished Damon in the 3rd round. Like he's not bad. He's a very solid fighter. But the Johns fight, he just got outclassed, and which you can't really get mad at. Miles Johns is a very good fighter, but again, he just got outclassed. I forget where. I swear I just saw him in someone's corner the other day, or not the other day, but the other card. Was it like Trey Ogden or some shit? He was in someone's corner. I remember. He's a solid fighter. He's a wrestler. His striking's okay, but he's pretty much just a wrestler. His cardio ain't amazing. He gassed against Johns pretty badly. But if his perfect fight is taking you down and laying on you for 15 minutes, that's what he did against Nick Aguirre. So that's his perfect fight, and if he can do that here, I wouldn't be shocked, but it's gonna probably be a lot harder. So, yeah, I think Dan's a decent fighter, but, he needs to start showing up better in his fights. Like, that Johns fight, yeah, okay, you didn't look great, but that was your first bad performance. You beat Ronnie before that, and that's that, so we'll see how he looks here in a very winnable fight, of a big step down for him. The Bang Out first fight have Gene Matsumoto minus 205 to plus 165. That's probably a bit of a reach, to be honest. I definitely probably would have. I could see this being a pick'em, to be honest. I think Argueta's good. Matsumoto looked fine on a Contender Series. This is going to be an interesting fight. If Gene wins, it's because he kept on the feet and was able to use his kicks and his punches and all that to a very high degree. But if Argueta wins, that he got on the inside and took him down. So I'm very interested to see which is going to happen. Who am I picking? This is definitely a hard fight to predict. I'm gonna lean with... Give me Matsumoto, I think. I could see him being able to keep it on the feet and kick out Argueta's legs and stop takedowns and all that a lot better than Argueta can get the takedowns. If Dan wins this, will I be shocked? Fuck no. Dan's a very underrated fighter, and I'll actually be more annoyed because, like I said, I have picked Dan, I think, in his last 3 fights, even when he was an underdog against Ronnie. So, and he, like I said, if he wins this, he kept taking Gene down, gassed him out, and beat him. Which, again, 100% could happen. I don't be shocked if it does. So, I'm intrigued. I'm going to lean with the newcomer, the debuting fighter, the undefeated fighter, Gene Matsumoto. Keep it on the feet and win, man. So, I'm going to go Matsumoto by decision. Let's see what happens. I definitely think the odds should be closer. I think Argueta is one of the best dogs on the card. Him, Almeida, and someone later on the card. So, yeah, not much else to say. Matsumoto by decision. After that, we get to our fourth fight of the night in the women's strawweight division, a can versus can battle for the ages. Why the fuck am I gonna watch this garbage? As we have in our fourth fight of the night, Cynthia Calvillo versus Piera La Fiera Rodriguez. Kill me. The shit the UFC can make us watch. What the fuck is this, man? How is Calvillo still here? Do you see this? L, 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 L. It's like I'm watching Stranger Things with how many L's I'm hearing and seeing, bro. Come on. If you get that reference, you a G. And then Piera Rodriguez fucking sucks. Dude, what the fuck, man? Dana, you motherfucker. You're lucky 300 next week. Let's talk about Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia in the UFC is 6-6-1. Her wins are Amanda Cooper, Pero Gonzalez, Joanne Wood, Poliana Botelho, Courtney Casey, and Jessica I. Her losses are Carla Esparza, Caitlin Seminara, Jessica Andrade, Andrea Lee, Nina Nunez, and Lupita Godinez. She fucking sucks. Like, how is she still here, man? Does she have pictures of Dana or some shit? Why is she here? She's lost 5 in a row, and she's not looked good in really any of them. She got dominated here from what I remember. She got smashed here. She quit here. She lost here. And then she looked okay here because Lupied and underperformed. Like, oh, and her one draw against Marina Rodriguez. How the fuck, Marina? Come on. She's a terrible fighter. Yeah, at one point she was pretty good. She was like a really hyped up prospect. Then she actually started fighting good fighters. Because if you notice, her best one is Joanne fucking Wood. Joanne Wood's cool. That's your best win out of 6 fights? Come on. And like, is she even losing to bad fighters? Not really. Seminara, fine. Andrade is great. Lee is good. Nina, come on. Loopy, God, nothing wrong with that. Calvillo just sucks. And now she's 36 years old, and she's just... Why is she here? So, her striking has always been garbage. Her gas tank ain't great. Her ground game, her wrestling is all she has. And even that, at this point in her career, it's pretty bad. So, I don't know. I don't get why she's still here. Dana fucking loves this bitch. She sucks. She's fucking terrible. And when she loses this fight, if she gets another fight after this, she's the female Sam Alvey. If she gets another fucking fight on a 6-fight losing streak, that's fucking insane. How is she fucking here? Still crazy. To talk about her opponent, Piera Rodriguez. Piera in the UFC is 2-1. Her 2 wins are Kay Hansen and Sam Hughes. She did lose to Jillian Robertson in her last fight. And she is coming off Contender Series where she did get a contract. Piera's not a good fighter, and her last 3 fights, like, she looked fine against Kay Hansen, but Kay Hansen, come on. But the problems really started with the Sam Hughes fight where she did not look very good. She won, she did not look very good doing it, and then in her last fight, she got pretty much exposed against Jillian Robertson. Yeah, she did not tap to that armbar, but she was losing that fight anyway, so, she has no ground game, and her cardio ain't good. Her striking ain't even that good. Like, she's really not good at anything. Like, when your strong suit is striking and you're not even that good at it, I have some issues. Like, I'm not even upset she got submitted by Jillian Robertson. It's Jillian fucking Robertson. Jillian is still great and at, like, fucking 30-something years old. She's fucking ranked right now. But in the same breath, you have no takedown defense. Like, she has been taken down at will. By Sam Hughes, she was, if I remember, against Jillian Robertson. I know she fucking was. So it's just like, you've had a year now to get better after 2 fights where you did not look very good. Have you got better? And this is a very easy fight. This might be an easier fight than Kay Hansen. If you can't win this shit, you get cut. I'm not even joking. If she loses this fight, she's on my chopping block, which I do Sunday, about 2 p.m. every Sunday after card, if there's people to be cut. So, if you lose this shit, you get cut. You are literally getting handed a W. Win. So, yeah, not very much else to say. The betting odds for this fight have Piera Rodriguez minus 155 to plus 130. I would probably move Piera up to minus 200. No higher, because she's not a good fighter, but she is still levels above Cynthia Calvillo in 2024. So, Piera should win this fight pretty easily. Keep it on the feet, stuff takedowns, beat up the very old Calvillo, and win. If Piera has gotten better and is able to stop takedowns, she will win this fight easily. If she is still the same fighter from a year ago, she'll get taken down and lose. Simple as that. So, you should win this fight. You better win this fight. I'm going Piera Rodriguez by decision. Don't fuck this up. Get this bum out the UFC, please. Piera Rodriguez by decision. After that, we go to our 5th fight of the night, a fight I'm going to talk very little about because it literally got booked Wednesday. Or, yeah, I think yesterday this got fucking booked. So, but in our 5th fight of the night, in the bantamweight, is it bantamweight or flyweight? Bantamweight. In the bantamweight division, we have Pedro Pentrino Falcão versus Victor Striker Hugo. Pedro Falcão is stepping in for Altung Lee, I believe. Who pulled out, I think, Tuesday, and then they called him on Wednesday, and he stepped in, or around. It was this week. All this shit went down this week. So, yeah, Pedro stepping in. Hugo's been on the card. Let's see what happens. Not going to talk much about Pedro. Never seen this dude a day in my life. I know he was on Contender Series. I don't remember his fight against James Barnes a couple years ago. I have no memory of that. So, yeah. 4 days notice. Coming off a win in November. Let's see what he can do. I don't remember a fucking thing about this dude. Let's see if he can get a short notice W. To talk about his opponent, Victor Hugo, I don't have much good to say about Hugo because I don't think he's a good fighter. He is making his UFC debut, coming off Contender Series, beating that guy by knee bar. Yeah, he looked pretty whatever. I don't think he should have got a contract, but whatever. It was funny, he was meant to actually fight in November, but he missed weight. Good job, dickhead. Yeah, he's good on the ground, I guess. That's about all I can take away from the Contender Series fight, because I barely remember it. I don't fucking remember it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't got much to say. I'm not very impressed with this dude. And even if he wins this, I'm not, because you're fighting a dude who stepped in 4 days ago. By the time you fight, so, yeah. No betting odds for this fight on Typology. I think Victor is like minus 200 or some shit. I would probably have Victor minus 190, 200. He's fighting a dude who's stepping in on 3 to 4 days notice by the time they fight. And Victor's been on the card, booked to fight a dude who's way better. Like a guy he's probably gonna lose to in Altung Lee. So, yes, I think Victor is getting he's definitely celebrating now because he went from probably losing to Altung Lee to beating this dude. So, yeah. Whatever, Victor should win this fight pretty easily. If you can't beat a dude who is stepping in on 4 days notice, you really fucking suck. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Victor Hugo I'm gonna say submission in the first. He should be able to beat this guy pretty easily. So, yeah, I'm going Victor Hugo by submission in the first. The dude stepping in on 4 days notice. If you get embarrassed by this dude, I'll love it because I don't think this Hugo guy is that good. But in the same breath, I doubt it happens. So, Victor Hugo by submission the first. If you don't look good against this guy, you suck. After that, we had to the co-main of the prelims. How the fuck is this on the prelims? This is the third best. Actually, I'd say this might be the second best fight on the card. I cannot wait for this fight. I think it's gonna be really, really intriguing. As we have in the woman bantamweight division, a pretty big fight, might I add. The winner of this is like pretty much getting like one more win, and you're getting a title shot. So things to really consider. As we have in our co-main of the prelims, Norma, the immortal Dumont, versus the return of Germaine, the Iron Lady, the Randamie. GDR is finally back after 4 years. This is, you know, she's been off a long time when this is the first fight of her them breaking down. Like that, like I've been doing breakdowns now for 3 years, 265 I believe, Gone and Lewis. She's been off longer than that, so it's good to see the Iron Lady back. Let's see if she still got it. But first, let's talk about her very tough opponent in her return fight, Norma Dumont. Norma in the UFC is 6-2. Her 6 wins are Ashley Evans-Smith, Felicia Spencer, Aspen Ladd, Danielle Wolfe, Carol Hossa, and Chelsea Chandler. Her 2 losses are Megan Anderson and Macy Chasson. Dumont's a lot better. I keep saying this. I said this with the Chandler fight. I'll keep saying this. Dumont is way better than people think she is. Like, people look at her as like a fucking joke for, like, I get the dump truck joke and all that. It's fine, cool. Let's actually not forget, she's actually one of the best, dead ass. She's probably one of the top 3 best women's bantamweights in the world right now. Like, she's actually really talented for that division. Like, she's better than Pennington. She's better than Pena. She's better than Holm. She's better than Kayla Harrison. She's better than fucking Ketlin Vieira. She's just a lot better than these chicks. And I know her fights are not exciting. Let's be honest. Do you remember any of these fights? I remember the Chandler and the Wolf fight. I don't remember no, I do remember. I remember her last 4. I don't remember this at all. And I remember this. Trust me, I do remember that. This, she might have lost that fight, to be honest. We all remember this for being terrible. She could have won this, to be honest. She exposed that bum, and her last 2 fights have actually been kind of good. So Dumont's a lot better than people think, is my point here. And if she can win this fight, I think she'll finally start getting respect, because that's her biggest problem. She's not beat anyone to gain respect. Her best win is Carol Hossa, maybe Chelsea. You can make a debate between these 2. Like, and then every time she's fought someone decent, like highly ranked, Chasson and Megan, she lost. So imagine if she fought her and she might have beat her. Yeah, Dumont's good, a lot better than people think. Her striking's good. Her ground game, which we'll probably have to see in this fight, is not bad. Her cardio's decent. Her power's good. She's a pretty good fighter, and I wonder if she can get this win, if she'll finally start getting respect. Because we'll see, man. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. But to get that respect, you have to go through a very tough opponent in Germaine de Randamie, who is finally back after a 4-year break because she got pregnant and had a kid and all that. So, welcome back, GDR. De Randamie in the UFC is 7-2, man. She's had very few fights. Her wins are Julie Kedzie, Pacheco, whoever the fuck Elmo is, Holly Holm, Raquel Pennington, Aspen Ladd, and Juliana Pena. Her 2 losses are Amanda Nunes. That's actually she's only lost to Amanda Nunes. Fuck, that's a good fucking resume. Well, in my bad, injuries and getting pregnant, I forgot. But yeah, we all know what we're getting with GDR. She's one of the best strikers, maybe at this point in the division. Just as a kickboxer and all that, 10-time kickboxing champion or some shit. She's probably the best kickboxer in the division now. Her and Irene Aldana are probably the 2 best strikers in the division. That's why I'm pissed that fight got canceled when it got booked. But the problem with all that is, and her ground game sucks. We saw that in the Nunes rematch. The problem with all that is She's now 39 years old, coming off having a kid, a 4-year layoff, and she's getting a really, really, really tough return fight. If she's fighting someone like Ketlin Vieira, Holly Holm again, just for example, fucking Kayla could actually beat her since she sucks at stopping takedowns. But one of Macy Chasson, if she was fighting someone lesser than Dumont, then I could see not really looking at that as a big issue. But fighting someone good like Norma Dumont is risky off a 4-year layoff. So I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, but it's gonna be a hard fight for GDR, especially if she's not the same GDR. It could be a bad night for her. So GDR is still GDR. This fight's gonna be awesome. If GDR ain't GDR anymore, this could go really bad. So I'm intrigued. I'm happy to see GDR back. Let's see what happens. The Bantamweight fight have Norm Dumont minus 200 to plus 165. Imagine seeing those odds in 2020 or 20. I get it. I don't know if I'd have her minus 200. I'd probably move it down to maybe a 160, 170. Dumont should be the favorite here. We've seen her fight 10 times more. Probably almost 10 times since GDR's last fight. She's actually a really good fighter. She's fucking way younger, and it's gonna be an interesting one. I guess Dumont's biggest problem is trying to make bantamweight, but I'm pretty sure she made it in her last fight, did she not? Did she not actually make weight in her last fight against Chelsea, or was that featherweight? Nope. Has she ever made bantamweight? That's actually a big problem if she's never made bantamweight. She's really never made bantamweight. That's gonna be interesting. Make weight. But if Dumont can make weight and all that, then the fight right comes down to is GDR still. We'll see. And if GDR is still who she was, Dumont's gonna need to implement a wrestling game plan, because I don't think she can beat GDR on the feet in a striking match. So, plus GDR is 2 inches taller, giant reach advantage. Dumont's gonna need to become a wrestler, and that's not a strong suit of hers, but this fight, she is definitely better on the ground, so we'll see what happens. Who's my pick? I'm gonna go Norm Dumont. It's hard to trust a 39-year-old coming off a 4-year break, but you never know. I'm not gonna count out GDR completely, but I definitely think this is gonna be a very tough fight. They did not give her an easy return fight, so let's see what happens. But my pick here is Norma the Immortal Dumont by decision. Let's see what happens. Gonna be intriguing. And now to talk about our featured prelim, the easiest fight on the card to predict, in my opinion. This should not be a very hard fight, and it's probably not going to be a great fight, but it should be a pretty easy fight to predict. As in our featured prelim in the welterweight division, we have Court the Crusher McGee versus Alex the Great White Morono. Two veterans. Let's see what happens. Let's talk about Court McGee first. Not much to say about Court that hasn't already been said. Dude's a fucking veteran. 10 and 11 in the UFC. Some of his best wins are... He beat Brad Tavares. Robert... When the fuck did that happen? Whitaker. Ramiz Brahima. And then his losses, a lot. his most notable losses: Ponzinibbio, Ben Saunders, Sean Strickland, Diego Lima, Sean Brady, Carlos Condit, Jeremiah Wells, Matt Brown. He's only lost to outside of Sean Brady and Diego Lima, he's only lost to pretty solid fighters: Matt Brown, Wells, Condit, Strickland, Ponzinibbio. Lately, cause come on. And that when we get back here, it's come on. I guess that Court was a decent fighter at a point, but now he's a very old man. His only way of winning fights at this point is getting you to the ground and grappling you, because that's all he can really fucking do at 40 years old. His chin is shot. His fucking striking is not even worse than it was. he's just not a very good fighter anymore, and this probably should be and will be his last fight because he probably will lose here. So yeah, he's just old. He's 40 years old, taking a lot of damage, especially in his last 2 fights. He's been KO'd in the first round by hooks. He don't got anymore, and he still can beat cans like Ramiz Brahima and Claudio Silva, but Alex Morono ain't a can. So yeah, Court, probably the last time we'll see him make the walk, because either he'll get cut or retire. So we'll see what happens. We know what the Crusher wants to do, crush you, but yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately. To talk about his opponent, Alex Morono. Alex in the UFC is 12-6-1. His most notable wins are Kanan Song, Max Griffin, Reese McKee, Cowboy, Mickey Gall, Matt Hemmelsberger, Tim Means. His losses, Chaos Williams, Anthony Pettis, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Joaquin Buckley. So it's like his last 4 losses are only 2 good fighters: Chaos, Showtime, Pons, and Buckley. And if you look at that fucking Ponzinibbio fight, he was winning that fight until he got KO'd. So, and then against Buckley, man, Buckley finishes everyone. For him to go 15 minutes, it wasn't a close fight, but man, the dude went 15 minutes with Buckley, and now, especially after last week when he made Luque quit, that actually looks pretty impressive now. So yeah, Morono's definitely one of those guys who everyone calls underrated, because he is good. He's always been a decent fighter. Is he the most exciting? Not really, but he's not a bad fighter. Who's his one no contest with, by the way? I didn't point that out. Nico Price. No. Whatever reason that was a no contest. Yeah, Morono's never been like this world beater, but he's not a bad fighter. Like, that's why if you look at his wins, he really doesn't lose to bad fighters. Like, especially like lately, especially when he's really been hitting his stride, he's been able to only lose to decent fighters. So yeah, he's decent. Morono's a very decent fighter. We know what he wants to do in his fight: keep it on the feet and do what he does, and he'll probably be able to do that. So yeah, not really much else to say. Morono is a very solid fighter. Very solid. The betting odds for this fight have Alex Morono minus 300 to plus 240. I agree. You can move Morono up to 350. He's my lock tonight here. I don't see how he would lose this fight. He's actually pretty decent on the ground, so even if Court got to the ground, would he be able to keep Morono down and just win? I think it would be very difficult for him to do that, so good luck. I'm not saying that's impossible for Court to do, but I definitely don't think he is going to do that, or could even do that to an extent at 40 years old. So I really don't see Court's way of winning. He's not knocking out Morono. He's not submitting him. It's complete takedown and control or bust. So, and Morono is good on the ground, good, way better on the feet. This should be an easy night for Morono. So I'm going to go Alex Morono to get the win here, and I'm going to go by, does he finish him? How many finishes does he have in UFC? 2, 2, and 8. I'm feeling a decision. I think he'll be able to just do his thing, pick Court apart, and get the win. So my lock tonight is going to be Alex Morono by decision. Should easily win this fight. Should not even lose a round. Sorry, Court, but you're just old, brother. Alex Morono by decision. Those are the prelims. 50 minutes later, pretty good prelims. Like, well, decent. Good, really good opening fight. Then you got some questionable fights here, but then you end with 2 pretty decent fights. Hell, the second best fight on the card is on the prelims. So, in my opinion, so yeah, not really much else to say. Good prelims, but now we got a pretty interesting main card with some interesting fights and fighters. So let's see what happens as we begin the main card in the lightweight division with a banger that's probably ending in a finish, as we have Trevor Peak versus Charlie the Cannibal Campbell. This screams banger on any card, any day, and probably a really good chance of being fight of the night. These two are going to go at it, and someone's getting knocked out, and I can't wait. This is going to be fun. Let's talk about it. Let's begin with Mr. Trevor Peek, the psychopath himself. He never has a he's had one boring fight. I'll give him a break. He is 2-1 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series. His 2 wins are Eric Gonzalez and Mohamed Yahya. And his 1 loss is to Shepe Mariscal, who we'll talk about in a few fights. He's good. He's really good. In his last fight, he did show he is able to have a really relaxed, chill fight. The Shepe fight did expose his weakness of if he doesn't finish you in the first round, he's kind of fucked. So it was smart of him to go into the Yahya fight with a very smart game plan, show that he is a more technical fighter than he has shown to be, and he looked good. He beat Muhammad Yahya's a joke, but he still was able to look good, go into enemy territory and beat Yahya. So yeah, he looked good, and I hope we don't see that peak here in this fight, because Campbell is going to be down to go to war, and that's what we want to see. Like, I get Peek wanted to get back in the win column after his first career loss, but we want to see Trevor Peek back. The one we saw against Gonzalez, and again, one we saw against Shepe. We want to see the banger having crazy man. We don't want to see the smart fighting wrestler, because no one wants those shitty fighters. Like, no one cares if you win a fight. We want to see you go to war, so... And when Peek goes to war, he's scary. He hits like a fucking truck. He throws weird punches, and he is good. So, if Campbell wants to play that game, he's gonna be playing a dangerous game. So, we'll see if Campbell can go to that fire and come out unscathed. I doubt he will, though, because Trevor Peek is a scary man to go to war with. To talk about his opponent, though, Charlie Campbell. Charlie in the UFC is 1-0. He is not coming off Contender Series. He actually lost on Contender Series and then got a short notice contract. In his UFC debut, he knocked out Alex Reyes. He looked good against the can. Not really much to say. But he is now back to show that he is a decent fighter and that he did not just beat a can. He does go to Longo and Sarah, so he does go to a good camp, but it seems like lately saying that means nothing, because we saw that guy lose to Chad and Hellinger, and then who did we see last week? I thought we saw someone last week who's from that camp looked like shit too, so, Campbell, down to go to war. He's a good striker with good power himself, and, I don't think he's gonna be scared to fight here, so if he's down to go to war, we know Peek will probably be. Someone's going out cold. So I definitely think Campbell is playing a riskier game than Peek, because I think Peek hits harder. I think Peek has a better chin. It's gonna be a fun one, though. I can't wait. So someone's gonna go to sleep. It's gonna be fun. The bangers for fight have Charlie Campbell minus 225 plus 185. I get it, because if it's a more technical fight, Campbell definitely should be the favorite. And he's much taller, but in a brawl, Peek is never plus 185. So I'd probably have Campbell minus 130, a small favorite, because if it does turn into a technical fight, he'll probably win it. But with Trevor Peek, if it turns into a war, it's not minus 225, so, yeah. Who am I going with to win this fight? If it turns into a war that it should be, I'm going to go Trevor Peek. It's hard to count him out here. I know against Shepe he lost in a war, but Charlie Campbell does not have the chin of Shepe Mariscal. So, Campbell's good, but can he take the punches that Shepe did? I don't think so. So, my pick here is going to be Trevor Peek. I think he should be able to knock out Campbell in the first round. And if not, I hope we get a war. I don't care who wins, just give us a fun fight. I'm going Trevor Peek by knockout in the first. Let's see a banger, guys. Let's see a banger. After that, we go to the opposite side of the coin for a fight that's not very good, and it's a heavyweight fight, so it's really shitty. So, oh Christ. Let's head to our heavyweight fight of the card, the second fight of the main card in the heavyweight division, as we have Łukasz the Bull Brzeski versus Valter the Clean Monster Walker. Ah, low level MMA, love to see it. Valter, I don't know why I keep saying Vitaly. Valter is Johnny Walker's brother. I wish he was as good as Johnny. Let's talk about Łukasz Brzeski first, though. Łukasz in the UFC is really 1-2. His one win was against Martin Budai. I don't care what anyone says, he won that fight. And then his last 2 fights, he's lost to Carl Williams and Waldo Cortez Acosta. Yeah, the dude fucking sucks. He's not even really a heavyweight. He's just a dude who won't lose weight and go to light heavyweight because he's a very skinny fucking heavyweight. Like, he's not that flabby like most heavyweights. He's what, 6'4", 235? He could easily be a fucking light heavyweight. Like, he's probably one of, if not maybe the skinniest heavyweight on the roster right now. So, and he's just not good. He has no ground game. His chin ain't good. His striking ain't good. He's a terrible fighter. So, I'm not sure why he's getting another fight, because on paper he's lost 3 in a row, and in reality he's only lost 2, but still. And he just sucks. He's just another low-level heavyweight can. So, but UFC ain't cut him yet. Feed him to Valter Walker real quick. Why not? To talk about his opponent, Valter Walker. Valter, of course, made his UFC debut, undefeated. Johnny Walker's brother. Again, nothing like Johnny Walker. I've heard he's a wrestler. Boo. But, what can you do there? Let's see if he's good. They're giving him a cakewalk of a debut. So let's see if the dude's good. Let's see if he actually has earned his UFC contract, or is he only here because who his brother is. We'll find out. So, yeah, not very much else to say. He's probably going to win this fight. The better question is, does he look good doing it? We'll see. Man, by the way, he's 6'6", 81.5-inch reach, which is big. The betting on first fight, I have Valter Walker, -350 to +280. Sure. He should win this fight. Not very much to say. I have heard his striking ain't very good, so I guess there's a word where Brzeski is able to keep it on the feet and fight at range and win. But even in that case, I doubt that actually happens. So, yeah. I'm going to go Valter Walker by knockout in the second. I could see him taking... I could see this being like the Carl Williams fight for Brzeski, but he actually gets finished this time. He's going to get taken down, beat up, and probably finished. So, yeah, because let's see. He has 3 TKOs in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the fourth. 1 submission. Okay, yeah. And he has no standing knockouts. Oh, no, he does have 1. Yeah, I'm going to go a TKO in the second round. I think it should be a pretty easy night for Valter. Get on the inside, take him down, and win. Should be pretty simple. So I'm going Valter Walker by TKO in the second. Maybe it'll be the first. Either way, should be an easy win. And an easy debut for Johnny's brother. Valter by knockout in the second. 4 more. And this one's another pretty easy fight to predict, even if it's not the greatest fight in the world. But it's a fight. It actually probably will be a pretty decent fight just because these two aren't the highest level, but we'll wait and see. And then our third fight in the main card, in the lightweight division again, we have a possibly fun fight between Ignacio La Jula Bahamondes versus Christos the Spartan Giagos. It's a fight, again, I think a pretty easy fight to predict, but I've been proven wrong with this guy before, so we'll see what happens. Let's talk about Ignacio Bahamondes. Ignacio in the UFC is 3-2. His 3 wins are Roosevelt Roberts, Zhu Rong, and Trey Ogden. His 2 losses are John Makdessi and Ludovic Klein. When this dude is fighting at his best, like the Roberts fight or the Zhu Rong fight, the kid's really fucking good. He has all the talent. But it's when he looks off. Like, again, John Makdessi, that's a hard debut. They went to war. It happened. Sorry. Against Ludovic Klein, though, he just got outclassed. He truly just got outclassed. And, like, Ludovic Klein's a fine fighter, but yeah, I think Ignacio's still better. Ignacio has all the potential to be a top 15 dude, in my opinion. He's a really good striker. His ground game ain't terrible. His gas tank's alright. He has good power, good kicks, this and that. But the kid keeps underperforming at times. And, again, when he's on, he's really good. But he's just not been on. Like, even in the Trey Ogden fight, yeah, he won pretty soundly, but he, like, the best you could do is, like, win a pretty whatever decision against Trey Ogden. I expect a little better, so yeah, I don't know. I like Ignacio. I've been a fan of him for a minute. I definitely think he has potential to be really good, but dude has to show up consistently, and that's definitely a problem is in his UFC career so far. So let's hope he can. Let's hope he can show up here and look like Ignacio Bahamondes that we know and we like to watch, like in the Roberts fight. So let's see what happens. To talk about his opponent, Christos Giagos, not much to say. This dude's a can. 6-7 in the UFC. His best win is who? Like, who has this dude actually beat? Damir Hazovic? Wow. Yeah, this dude sucks. Like, I don't have much to say. He's not good. And he's gonna get cut after this fight, so yeah, he sucks. Never thought he was good. Simple as that. The betting odds for this fight have Ignacio Bahamondes minus 345 to plus 270. Trust me, I want to agree, but it's hard to trust Ignacio. I'd have him more minus 250. Even a little lower than that, you go to 230. He should win this fight. No question, he should win this fight. Do I trust him to win it? Oh, yes and no. Yes, because Giagos is a can, but I've seen him underperform at times. And if he underperforms again here, there's a chance he could lose. Do I think it's going to happen? Fuck no. But if it did, will I be that shocked at this point? No. Not really. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, I'm just looking at how do these guys win fights mostly. Interesting. Yeah. Of course, my pick here is going to be Ignacio Bahamondes. He should be able to win this fight pretty easily. He's the better striker. He's better on the feet. He's better on the ground. He's just better, but there's definitely possibility he underperforms. This reminds me of Jandy Roba and Loopy last week. One fighter looks way better than the other on paper, but the lesser fighter wins. I could see it again here. I don't think it's going to happen. Always could. But, yeah, my pick here is going to be Ignacio Bahamondes. I think he should win this. I'm going to go by... Give me a decision. I could see him fighting very conservative like he has in his past fights. And, if he does, he's probably going to win a decision. So, I'm going Ignacio Bahamondes by decision. Let's see what he can do here in a layup fight on paper. So, yeah. After that, we had the best fight on the card, in my opinion. I cannot wait for this fight. This is going to be awesome. A banger in the featherweight division between two great prospects, as we have Morgan, the last pirate Charriere, versus Shepe Machine Gun Marshall. What a fucking banger. And this is one of the few times the fight gets better when someone steps in, because this was meant to be Morgan versus Sung Woo Choi, which would be a great fight, but that's kind of like, yeah, they're feeding Sung Woo Choi to a prospect. This is prospect versus prospect, banger fighter versus banger fighter. I can't wait for this. Let's fucking go. Let's start by talking about Morgan Charriere. Morgan in the UFC is 1-0 in his UFC debut. He looked great, beating up Manolo the Inchi, whoever the fuck that can is. He looked great and got a nice body shot finish, and he looked great. So now he's getting a ginormous step up with Shepe Marshall. Let's see how he performs. I was impressed with Morgan in his debut. I think the dude's really good from what I've seen. Oh, he beat William Gomez. W. I was impressed with what I've seen. I know I've seen a lot of people talk bad about him because I guess they think he sucks or something, or he's a fraud, whatever. I've not seen it. I've seen one fight of his. He looked great. So until I see him not look good in a fight that matters, which means it's a UFC fight, I don't give a fuck what he's done outside the UFC. So, but yeah, Morgan impressed me in his debut. 11 finishes, 5 by decision, 3 by submission. Let's see what the kid can do. 28 years old. This is definitely a dude they want to build up, since France definitely does not have the best fighters right now. Outside of Manon, Cyril Gane's ducking fights. Benoit just got beat. All they have is Manon right now. Can they get Morgan Charriere? We'll see. If he can get a win here, that'd be a ginormous win, and that'd be a ginormous feather in his cap. Let's see if he can get it. To get that win, he has to go through a guy who's been on a tear in the UFC since getting his short notice opportunity, Shepe Mariscal. Shepe in the UFC is 2-0. We talked about him earlier beating Trevor Peek, and then in his last fight he knocked off Jack Jenkins by... It was kind of a fluky win because it was a lot like Estela Nunes and Victoria Dudikova. A takedown, arm break, it happens. I don't look at that as a real win to an extent, but shit happens. Shepe is good, man. Shepe is really good. And we saw that in the Peak fight, upper weight class against a tough dude like Trevor Peek. He beat him. You can even say a fraud check to an extent. And then he was not looking that bad against Jack Jenkins. So, he's not looked bad so far, man. And then, like we've seen in this, I say this every time I break down one of his fights, but if you look at the guys he's fought before the UFC, he's fought a lot of UFC fighters. Gregory Gillespie, Bryce Mitchell, Carl Deaton, Pat Sabatini, Yusuf Zalal, Johansen Brito, Steve Garcia, Sean Soriano. He's been fighting UFC fighters. Think about UFC level guys, Zalal and fucking guys like that, but fighting Steve Garcia, Brito, Bryce Mitchell, like all before you're in the UFC, it's some pretty good experience to get. And then he even beat Pat Sabatini, so fuck. And Pat Sabatini is an okay fighter, and Yusuf Zalal just got a win 2 weeks ago. So yeah, Shepe's good, man. Shepe's really good, and if he can knock off his third prospect in a row, you really have a problem on your hands. Dude is 31 years old. And if he can knock off Charriere and go and get his third prospect win in a row, that'd be big, man. That'd be big. On short notice, no less. That'd be interesting. Let's see if he can do it, man. Shepe's good. There's a world where he can do it. I'm intrigued. The betting odds for this fight have Morgan Charriere minus 155, which is actually not true anymore. It's pretty much a pick'em at this point. I think Morgan's like minus 120, 115. I'd have Morgan minus 120, 125. Tiny favorite, but I definitely not confident in that favorite. I really think this is a pick'em to an extent. This is a battle between two great fighters. Morgan, a great young fighter. Shepe, a great veteran who got a nice tear right now. Someone's gonna get a really big, nice win here, and whoever gets it, it's gonna be set up for a really good next fight, man. So, let's see who gets the win. Who am I going with in this fight? I'm going to go with the last Pirate. I think the kid, I want to see more of the kid. I've not seen enough to say he is going to get beat here. I'm intrigued. I think the kid has a lot of potential. And so does Shepe. Even a loss here for Shepe, he's still good. No matter who loses this, they're still going to be good. I'm just really interested to see this fight in general. I can't wait for this fucking fight. So, but my pick here is gonna be Morgan Charriere. Let's see what the kid got. Let's see if the hype and see if the hype is legit. A win here would prove a lot. So, I'm going Morgan Charriere by decision. I don't think he's gonna finish Shepe. If Peek didn't, I doubt he will. But if he finishes Shepe, holy shit. But Shepe could break the kid. Never know what's gonna happen, man. I can't wait. I'm going Morgan Charriere by decision. Can't wait. After that, we head to our co-main event of the evening. It's not a better fight than the Morgan fight, but whatever. Our co-main event of the evening, an okay fight. Nothing too great about it. But it's a battle between two veterans. It might be an entertaining fight. As in our co-main event of the evening, staying in the featherweight division, we have Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez versus Damon the Leech Jackson. Yeah, I get why they booked this fight, and it does make sense, and I do get why it's a co-main. They do like these veterans, and it probably could be a decent fight, but, like, is it really the second best fight in the card? Because that's what the co-main is, and fuck no. It's not better than the Charriere fight. It's not better than the Norma Dumont fight. But whatever, UFC is gonna UFC like always. Whatever, I'm gonna watch it either way, and I'm gonna break it down either way. So, let's start with Alexander Hernandez. Hernandez in the UFC is a perfect 6-6. His 6 wins, Benio Dariush, Oliver Urban Mercer, Francisco Trinaldo, Chris Gertzmacher, Mike Breeden, and Jim Miller. His losses are Cowboy, Drew Dober, Thiago Moises, Manny Moicano, Billy Q, and Bill Algeo. At lightweight, he had a nice run, and actually he's coming off a win at lightweight, but for some reason Hernandez is dead determined on being a featherweight, which I don't get because it's not his weight class, but whatever. He is 0-2 at featherweight, losing to Billy Algeo and Billy Q, which are very understandable wins. Billy Q broke him in his that's a tough-ass featherweight debut, and then Bill Algeo just pretty much was able to be a better fighter than him, which, again, we're not shocked by. Hernandez is not a good fighter. He has really good power in his hands. That's about it. His gas tank has never been good. His ground game has never been that good. Like, he looked okay in a Jim Miller fight, but that's a 40-year-old... Actually, I'm not going to say that with Jim Miller, because Jim Miller is still fighting at a great level. He looked okay in the Miller fight. I did not score it for him, but it was a great, close fight. But we're not talking about lightweight Hernandez, so it's kind of pointless to talk about that. We're talking about featherweight Hernandez, who's 0-2, and has looked very at featherweight. He's not looked very good. So... Cody, if he loses this, he's gonna be in a really weird spot, because that'd be 0-3 at featherweight, 1-5 in his last 1-4 in his last 5. He needs this win, and it's a very favorable matchup. It's a dude with a weak chin, a wrestler, someone who might be worse than him as a fighter to an extent. And just from Algeo and Billy Q, it's a giant step down. So Algeo beat him. So I'm intrigued if Hernandez can finally get that first featherweight win. If he can, I won't be shocked. If he can't, he's going to be in a weird spot. So I still don't get why he wants to be a featherweight so bad. Just go up to lightweight. Stay at lightweight, I mean. Just stay at lightweight. But whatever. He wants to be a featherweight. Do it. To talk about his opponent, Damon Jackson. Damon in the UFC is 5-4-1-1. His wins are Mirsan Bektik, Charles Rosa, Camilla Kirk, Dan Argueta, and Pat Sabatini. His 4 losses are, I gotta scroll back for this. Who the fuck did he lose? Yancy Medeiros. When the fuck did that happen? Ilya Topuria, Dan Ige, and Billy Q. He has a draw with that guy and a no contest with Ronnie Jason. The more you know. Damon is a really good grappler, but he's getting older. He is 35 years old. His chin is getting weaker and weaker. He got flatlined by Danny Gay, Billy Q. He actually had a pretty close fight, Billy Q, but Billy still was able to beat him up at times. And Billy Q's not a power puncher. He's just a volume striker. He's not. If he can get you to the ground, he's dangerous. But if Damon can't get you to the ground, he's not a good striker. And he did have a little bit of a the best run of his career, but he didn't beat anyone. He beat Charles Rosa, who's terrible, Camilla Kirk, who's terrible, Daniel Argueta on a no camp on 2 days notice or some shit. And yeah, the Pat Sabatini fight that was a great win, and that was the best performance of his career, the best fucking fight of his career. And that was a really giant upset at the time. So, but ever since that, again, Dan Ige knocked his chin around his head, and Billy Q beat him. So, he's just never... And, even if you look at his other UFC win, Mirsan Bektik sucks. So he's not beat. Like, when your best wins are in the UFC are Dan Argueta and Pat Sabatini, that kind of says a lot. And another thing to factor in, he's never really beat a striker to the level of Alexander Hernandez. Like, Mirsad Bektic is not even close. Charles Rosa sucks. Kamala Kirk, garbage. And Dan and Pat are wrestlers. So, he's never really beat these power puncher guys. Like, he's lost to them more than anything. So, and he has a weak chin as is. So, Damon, could he pull off the win here that he really needs? Of course. Will he? Gonna be a tough ask. Gonna be a really tough ask. And we'll see. We'll see. He could. There's a world where he does. But it's gonna be a hard fight for him. Gonna be a hard fight for both guys. Gonna be a really hard fight for both guys. Because you gotta look at this fight in this way. If Hernandez doesn't knock him out in the first, early second round, he's probably gonna get fucking beat. And if Damon gets on him early, let's say he can get in on a fucking double leg or a fucking clinch early and get him to the ground, Alex is gonna get gassed out and lose. But Alex could easily knock Damon out in the first or second round pretty easily because Damon is a shit striker. So it's really gonna be, can Hernandez stuff takedowns and can Damon get to the ground is where we'll see. I guess a really interesting fight to watch for, research for this fight would be the Jim Miller fight, since Damon is like a shittier Jim Miller. Like, he's a shittier wrestler with probably shittier striking. So, and Hernandez beat him. It wasn't the most convincing win, but, so, I don't know, this is a decent fight, mainly because it's a fucking hard one to predict, because it's two really untrustworthy fighters. And also, we got a dude who has no gas tank and versus dude with no chin. One of those things are gonna break and lose the other of the fight, so we'll see which one it is. The betting odds have Alexander Hernandez minus 200. I disagree. I'd have Hernandez minus 140, 130 at the lowest. Small favorite, but a favorite, because I think his path of winning is a lot easier and more viable than Damon's, since it's striking. So, yeah. Who am I going with? I'm going Alexander Hernandez. I think maybe the first time I've ever picked him. He should be able to knock Damon's head around his chin around his head, but at the same time, I say that with like a 45% fucking, like 55% of me is confident that 45% of me is not. So I'm definitely going to be, I expect to get this wrong, though that's one of those fights, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. So, but I'm going to Alexander Hernandez by knockout in the, how many knockouts does he have in the second? Because I'm feeling the second round for some reason. He has none in the second round, but he has one. Did he get that one in the third in the UFC? No. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go Alexander Hernandez by knockout in the second. I don't know why. And by the way, Damon Jackson doesn't have a good gas tank either. Let me fit that in there. But whose gas tank is worse? At featherweight, Hernandez. So I'm gonna go Alexander Hernandez by knockout in the second. I think he can, like, really beat up Damon early, maybe even survive, and then knock him out in the second. So I don't know why I don't feel a first round KO here. I feel a second round. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Alexander Hernandez by knockout in the second. Let's see what the Great Ape can do. Can he get his first featherweight win, or this could easily be the last time we see the loser of this fight. So whoever it is, let's see what happens. I'm going Hernandez by knockout in the second. Let's see what happens. And now, time for our main event of the evening. Sadly, has been downgraded from what it was. I'll talk about that in a second. But whatever. It's the last fight before UFC 300. Wow, what a disappointment. So, but in our main event of the evening, in the middleweight division, we have Brendan All-In Allen versus Chris the Crying Man Curtis. As we all know by now, this was meant to be Brendan Allen versus Martin Vettori. Vettori got hurt last week, I believe, or like a few weeks ago, and Chris Curtis stepped in. That's the one time I'll give Chris Curtis respect for stepping in, but you really could not been Cannonier. fuck. Ikram Alashkirov would have been better. Chris Curtis in the main event. Ugh. whatever. And this fight's 10 times easier to break down than the Vettori fight. Vettori Allen, great fight. I still think it's like, yeah, Allen should win. This is like, dude, Allen's gonna win. So, I'm not gonna waste much time here because I fucking hate Chris Curtis, so fuck him. Brandon Allen's gonna win this fight. Like, I already know what everyone's gonna say, but he lost the first time. Yeah, he did. You're fucking right. But what? Okay, since the first fight, Brandon Allen has won six fight winning streak, looking amazing in all those fights, and he's only 28 years old. Chris Curtis, since the first fight in 2021, might I add, let me add that in there. Since the first fight, Chris Curtis has went 3-2-1, and really it should be 3-3 because he quit in the Simov fight, and he looked like shit in this fight. Oh, and let me add in, he is 36 years old. So, with everything I've just told you, one of these guys has gotten better since their first fight in 2021. The other has gotten worse. I think you're gonna be shocked. The guy who is older at 36 years old and clearly looking shittier, it has not gotten better since their first fight. Brandon Allen, after that Curtis fight, he just became a monster. Like, outside the Malcolm fight's the only one on his 6-fight winning streak where he didn't look great. Every other fight, he's looked great. Like, he smashed everyone. But Chris Curtis, even in his wins, the Buckley fight, it's Joe Quinn Buckley at middleweight. Buckley still has no chin. Who did he beat after Allen? Rodolfo Vieira, really? And he had one of the worst fights of the year so far, Marc-Andre Barriou. And then in his losses, embarrassed by Jack Hermanson, banger fight of Kelvin Gastelum, but he lost, and he quit versus Imavov. So, all Curtis has in this fight is power. If he can land that one big shot on Brendan, yeah, he'll win. Is he gonna land that big shot on Brandon Allen in 2024? Fuck no. Brandon Allen's going to take him down and beat him, because Brandon Allen is a 10 times better fighter right now. In 2021, Chris Curtis was a better fighter. In 2024, Brandon Allen is a better fighter. And that's all I got to say about that. And the betting odds, Brandon Allen minus 200, you can go even higher. You can put him at 300. I really don't see him losing this fight unless he gets clipped, which I don't think is going to happen. So, yeah. My pick here is going to be Mr. Brandon All-In Allen. I'm going to go Brandon Allen by submission, the second time Chris Curtis would have been submitted. I'm going to go it's a 5-rounder. I'm going to go in the third. I think in the third round is when Curtis is really going to start fading, because by that point, Allen will probably be up 2-0, gassing him out by the wrestling, and I think Allen's going to be able to submit him, or TKO him, one or the other. So, I'm gonna go Brandon Allen by submission in the third. I don't think the fourth round. I think the fourth is a little like, by that point, I doubt it. And by the second round, it's gonna be a second or third round, in my opinion. Fourth, maybe. I don't see Allen winning by decision. I think he's gonna TKO him or submit him. I would, if it might be the first round. I doubt it, but you never know. But I'm gonna go Brandon Allen by submission in the third. He's a way, way, way better fighter. The only advantage Curtis has in this fight is power. That's it. That's all I gotta say. All in Brandon Allen by submission in the third. I wish it was still Vettori. Boom! Those are my picks. To go over them one more time since it's been an hour and a half. Melissa Tonya Mullins by decision. César Almeida by decision. Jean Mastusuno, I know I said that wrong, my brain has just completely forgot how to say that, by decision. Piera Rodriguez by decision. Victor Hugo by submission in the first. Norma Dumont by decision. My lock for the night, Alex Morono by decision. Alex Morono is my lock for the night, not Norma Dumont. It sounded fucked off. Trevor Peak by knockout in the first. Valter Walker by TKO in the second. Ignacio Bahamondes by decision. Morgan Charriere by decision. Alexander Hernandez by knockout in the second. And Brandon Allen by submission in the third. Bang. It's a card. It's a fucking card. Is it good? No. Is it bad? No. It's a card. Weak main event. Weak co-main event. Great fight here. This shit's okay. Banger. This stuff's okay. The Dumont fight's great. Dumont and Charriere are two best fights on card. I don't care what anyone says. This is all wah, and then this is a decent fight. It's an Apex card. It's a fucking Apex card. Simple as that. And I saw someone say this on Twitter. Why are we acting like this card sucks or blah blah? It's not because we don't like the card. It's because we're burnt out by fight nights. The Tybora card was terrible. The Rose card was not much better, and the Earn card was a fucking annoying disappointment. What are we gonna fucking... what do you really want us to expect by now with our fourth fight night in a row? That's not even that great on paper. I don't expect much. I really don't care about this card right now. Like, usually by the time I break down the card, I'm pretty excited. Like, I'm excited for... I'm like... Usually I'm about 50% excited, maybe more, for a card on by Thursday. Because I'm recording this on Thursday. I'm about like 20, 25, and that's pretty much Dumont and Charriere. It's like, I just... After 3 in a row, it's just like, bro, can we just get to 300 already? So... And it's in the Apex. That's the ultimate nail in the coffin. It's in this fucking dumpster that no one on Earth likes. So, whatever. 13 more fights till we get to UFC 300. That's all we gotta say. If we can make it one more card, gang. One more card. If we can make it through this card, we have to get to 300. So, all I gotta say. So. I hope you enjoyed the video. You'll hear me recap this card Sunday, 1 p.m. EST, hopefully. It's an early card, so I doubt I will get lazy and not recap it on Saturday night. So, yeah, probably Sunday, 1 p.m. EST. If not, I'll try and get it out sometime during Sunday. And if not, Monday, 10 a.m. EST. So, there you go. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get back on schedule with that shit. And this card is not early or not late, so... should be able to do it. So, but unless I'm going to say something after an hour and a half, does anyone watch this far? I doubt it. But yeah, not much else to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, as always, I know that's a lot of shit. I'm sorry. RX out. Good vibes only and always. Later, slap nuts.